I'm Andrew.
And I'm Angus from Cracka Wines. Today we have Dandelion.
Yeah, exactly right. Today we've got Dandelion Vineyards, which is a very new kid on the
Cool
block.
label.
It's very cool.
I really
very
think
cool.
he's done a
And
great
really
job with that
tall
label.
bottles too, actually.
mean,
tall, expensive looking bottles.
That's right, that's right. Tall, expensive looking guy. But this is from winemaker Zar Brooks, and at Cracka Wines we have a special name for our friend Zar, and it is...
Bizarro.
Bizarro, because he likes being a bit off the wall.
Yeah.
And... you know, we see that in some of his wines, not all of his wines, but we definitely see this in this first wine.
Yeah, we sure do. So we're looking at something here over here. There's actually a Shiraz Riesling,
Get
Angus.
out!
Yeah, so it's got 5% Riesling, which seems like the most ridiculous thing in the world, Angus.
Look, it does sound a bit ridiculous. You know, Riesling, perfumed, elegant, fresh. Shiraz, big, full, especially from McLaren Vale, but it makes a hell of a lot of sense.
It does. Yeah, exactly right. Because the whole idea is that Shiraz itself is really big, rich and round. You know, we're talking McLaren Vale Shiraz. It's just like a whole lot of big, rich, lovely...
It's like Hulk
flesh.
Hogan of a wine.
Exactly. It's a lot
Without
of
the green.
But the thing is that Riesling, it's going to really tighten that back up again. The whole idea is you're going to give a little bit of softness to the edges. You're going to give a bit, like acidity levels are going to be more improved. It's really going to give that slight little bit of interesting lift. If
Bit of zip.
Yeah, a bit of zip.
And this is from 2008, so 2008 McLaren Vale needed some zip.
Yeah, exactly right. A vintage that was very ripe, very warm, and not known for its natural acidity, Angus.
No, very much so. But I think it still shows the vintage. I think we can still see pretty warm, chocolatey, ripe Barossa thing.
Absolutely.
I'm a McLaren thing, which a lot of people love, mate.
Yeah,
A lot of people,
definitely.
You know, they want their wines to be, you know, black as the ace of spades, and this certainly delivers, but with a bit of a ting.
Yeah, it's got a little bit of tang, I think. A little bit
Probably more tang than ting. You're probably right.
Look, I'm calling my tang. You can have your ting. Ting
No,
tang.
no, I think it's
we'll be on
tang.
with that. Yeah, look, I think it's actually quite a smart wine. I mean, in the context of the vintage, sorry. I think that probably if you were to see this out of another vintage more like 2010, a much more moderate year, it might be a much different wine altogether, Angus.
I think it's unfair to judge Bizarro on this 2008.
That's exactly right, Angus.
But I think now we're hitting, Zar does a really good Riesling.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, amazing Riesling. The Riesling's probably what I'd probably is the most famous out of all these dandelions.
Yeah. It is, and it sells well. But here we've got two Shirazes. Now, the first one is an 09 Lionheart of the Barossa. Like with Zar, it's got its generous names. He's a wordsmith, our friend Zar.
He calls himself the typist, actually, I believe is the way he described himself. And a very eccentric and interesting personality.
Yes, and congratulations to him for the birth of his child.
Yeah, exactly right. So here we're looking at the Lionheart of the Barossa. So we've gone from McLaren Vale to Barossa, and this one is all 100% Shiraz in comparison. There's no Riesling in this one.
Do you know where he gets this from? Fruit?
No.
Carl Lindner.
Ah, yes, one of the Lindners. Basically, they control everything in the Barossa.
Don't tell the Penfolds.
No, and the difference being, obviously, we've gone to a slightly different vintage. It wasn't quite as furnace-like. It had the same heat wave, but a little bit more... Earlier, and generally made some slightly more generous and even wines, if anything. This is, I suppose, you're still talking about a big, generous, rich, ripe style.
Yeah.
And that's what this it's all about. You know, it's still classic Barossa in many ways. You know, rich, lots of oak, lots of flavour. You know, I mean, there's nothing really poking out, but it's like, boom, Barossa Shiraz.
I really like the value on Zar's wines too. Like, this is, you know, 30 down to 20 bucks if you're lucky at a place like Cracka. And it just has some, like, it's what you want for 20 bucks Barossa Shiraz. Generous, full, quite long, bit of grip, enough grip to keep your interest.
I'm actually going to say something slightly controversial here, Angus. I think that I just slightly prefer the Shiraz Riesling.
My God.
Look, I really like the plump style that this has got going on here, but I think that I like
a bit more interest, eh?
Yeah, there's a little bit more intrigue in the Shiraz Riesling for me. You know, I think that compared to the two, this is obviously the one that it's a seductive wine. You know, it's a really juicy wine, but this has got that little bit of, oh, hello, what's that little bit of going on here?
No. I mean, I was about to ask you to pack your bags and get out, but you've just given us I think a beautiful appraise. So, you know, very generous. I'm going to go the other way.
Okay, good.
But that's life. Now, this wine is it's the Red Queen. This is Zar's like super duper. This is Grange from Zar.
This is, yeah, exactly right.
Zar Grange.
Zar Grange.
From Bizarro. And it's latitude 34, 38, 10, which is a great spot in the Barossa. It's
Eden Valley.
Blue golds.
Let's be more specific. It's actually Eden Valley. And this is a brand spanking new release, I think.
Literally, it is just out of the polystyrene. It hasn't even hit the shelf, I don't think, this one.
So yeah, look, the difference that we're looking at here. So we've gone from probably McLaren, which is Mediterranean climate but quite warm, and you've gone more towards what they classically call the Barossa. So I mean, they're probably meaning Barossa Valley here. So we're talking about slightly. Not quite as warm as McLaren, but still
200 metres of altitude,
yeah,
as
exactly
opposed
right.
to pretty close to sea level for
exactly
our
right. And what's the altitude here? 440. So we're slowly going up the hill, if you like, Angus.
We are.
And I suppose, look, I've got to say that I am a massive fan of Eden Valley.
Yes.
Of these three regions, and here's some more controversial for you. I think that I prefer Eden Valley out of all those regions as far as for Shiraz.
Look, I apologise for everyone calling from South Australia, especially David Powell. This is
Dave Powell loves Eden Valley too.
Yeah,
I really like the fact that it's not always going to be work like that, and there's certain years where, like 2011, for example, where you're going to much prefer the Barossa floor, but I really like that little extra black fruits that come from this, something like an Eden Valley.
Look, as hard as it is to say, I agree. I think Eden Valley. But 08's a pretty interesting vintage. For Eden, probably not the best. Probably almost better to be Barossa Valley floor for some people.
I disagree with that mainly because if you go from, so we're talking here from the Barossa Valley floor, which is 200 metres. If you actually go up Menglis Hill, up the top in the Eden Valley, you can sometimes go up to as much as 6 degrees difference between there. I'm talking about that's only in certain weather conditions, but traditionally it's about it's at least 3 degrees. So you're going from something that's 37 to 40, and that's quite a difference.
Look, it is, but there's timing stuff though.
I know, exactly right. But yeah, I certainly know that they had a better time of it in 2008 in Eden Valley than they did on some places, particularly in southern Barossa, where it is the warmest part of the Barossa.
So what do you think?
I really like this. Yeah, I really like the intensity.
Like 3 thumbs up?
Well, I don't know if I can have 3 thumbs there, Angus.
No.
Maybe just like 2 thumbs and
a wink.
Finger. Yeah, and a wink.
2 thumbs and a wink.
2 thumbs and a wink. Yeah, I like this. I like the style here. As I said, I'm a massive fan of Eden Valley Shiraz, and there's a vitality there that I don't see as much in these other 2 wines. There's a real, there's this power, this latent power that's underneath it all that I'm just like, bang, Eden Valley, right there.
I really enjoy the wine. Nice deep colour. There's complexity of fruit. Is it going to sell well at $85? Guess we'll know in 6 months' time.
And that's the biggest question. There is a lot of competition for something that's coming out of this sort of. At that sort of price level, I mean, you're talking about some really established names. I mean, things like Old Block, for example, which is probably pitched at that same sort of level. Stonewall.
You're up against the big boys.
Yeah, you are.
Playing
Exactly
with the
right.
big boys.
Yeah, I definitely play with the big boys. It's got a bit of bling on the front of the label, though, so hey.
Love a bit of bling.
Love a bit of bling.
So I think Friday afternoon at Cracka, Cold Winter's Day. We're just going to sign off and finish these. So
yeah, exactly right.
Good day.